Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. My name is Garrett. What is your name?
My name is Ben. I'm in China. Where did you live?
I live in Thailand right now. I'm from the US, but living in Thailand.
Oh, Thailand is a beautiful country.
Have you been there before?
No, I plan to.
Okay. When do you plan to go?
About July,
Hmm?
July, July, July.
Oh, in July. Okay. All right. I see you have an Engu article here. You want to jump into it?
Yeah.
All right. Do you want me to share the screen or will you read it on your screen?
I will read it on my screen.
Okay, sure.
Thanks.
All right. So we have women's suffrage and how women fought for the right to vote.
Women's suffrage. What's the meaning of suffrage?
Uh, women's suffrage is a part of like American history, and it was basically when the women were protesting for the right to vote, because for maybe more than 100 years it was illegal for women to vote; only men could vote, and
Oh, oh, oh.
mhm. And then after some time and protesting, yeah, they were able to finally get the right to vote. At the end, you'll see some of the pictures in the article about the suffrage movement.
Oh. If we want to vote for president, the at that time the women can't vote because they don't have ability.
Correct.
Okay. Oh,
All
women's
right.
suffrage.
So let's
Suffrage.
go to the vocabulary. So for the
Okay.
vocabulary, we have the first word turnout.
Turn out. Turn
Mm-hmm.
out. The number of people who vote in an election. Turn out. The
Mm-hmm.
number. Okay. Voting. I can read and then you can correct me.
Mm-hmm. Your
Okay.
pronunciation. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Turnout, the number of people who vote in an election. In an
Mm-hmm.
election. Election usually means the president want others vote for him and they want to be the true president.
Yeah, but not only for presidents in America, we elect governors, mayors, every level of government. So yeah.
Oh, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Voting is compulsory in Singapore, which is why voter turnout is always very high.
Mm.
Voting is compulsory. Could you please tell me the meaning of compulsory?
Compulsory basically means it's mandatory.
Mandatory.
Yeah. So the other example is, let's say, like Korea. Korea has compulsory military service. All men must join the military.
Got it.
So here in Singapore, it is compulsory. All people must vote.
Oh, it's a new news I never know before.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, but I think that's a pretty good idea.
Mm. Suffrage, Su- suffrage, the right to vote in elections, the right to
Hmm.
vote in elections. Many countries around the world have recognized the suffrage as a fundamental human right. Have recognized the suffrage. Recognize.
Hmm.
What's the meaning of recognize?
Recognize. When you recognize something, you understand it or you are familiar with it. For example, maybe you see somebody in you go to the grocery store and you see someone there and you recognize them. You think maybe you know this person before. Maybe you find out they're an
Mm.
actress or an athlete or something. You've seen them on TV. You recognize them when you see them in person.
Oh, but how to understand in this world? Many countries around the world have recognized the suffrage. Have recognized the suffrage as a fundamental.
So here in this context, they're saying have recognized. It means that they have like realized or understood that it is a human right.
Oh, so I can use. another word to replace this word. Many countries around the world have known suffrage as a fundamental human right.
Kind of. I would say another word that would be maybe better would be have found
Found.
suffrage. Yeah, has found suffrage as a human right. Hmm.
Okay, got it. Declare. To state something officially or publicly. A state of emergency was declared after the uh, hurricane. Hurricane.
Hurricane. Hmm.
Hurricane. It
Yes, like a
okay.
typhoon. Yeah.
Um, means a method for doing achieving something. Hunting was our only means of obtaining food during the winter months.
Hmm.
This disruption, something that makes it difficult for an event, activity, etc. to continue. The storm caused a disruption to the power grid and left substance without electricity.
Hmm. One more time, it would be power grid.
Power grid, there,
Power grid.
power.
The word
Uh,
that you read in the example. The disruption to cause the power grid.
oh, got it.
Hmm.
Oh, power grid. I found it.
Hmm.
Disru- The storm caused disruption to the power grid. What's the meaning of power grid?
Power grid is basically the infrastructure that gives electricity. So the power grid, it is all parts of electricity, from the power plant to the lines to the transformers to your house. All of that is the power grid. Hmm.
Oh,
So here they're saying that the storm caused disruption to the power grid. Maybe a tree fell on some power lines that was delivering the electricity, and now there's no electricity for that part of the city or town.
mm, got it. Picket, a person or group of people involved in a protest or demonstration outside a workplace or government building. The
Hmm. And this
worker
word is picket.
picket,
Hmm.
picket,
Make sure pick it like it, not picket. Picket.
picket, picket,
Yeah, picket. Almost like
picket,
you're saying picket.
picket,
Picket.
picket, picket,
Hmm.
picket, picket. Person or group of people involved in a protest or demonstration outside a workplace. Protest means protect somebody.
No, protest is when you are talking against typically the government or something like that. For example, during uh, the COVID times, I remember there was a building that burned in Xinjiang province, and then afterwards, the people went to the street to protest the Corona lockdown and the Corona restrictions.
Oh, protest.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it's when people don't approve of what the government does, so they go to the street, maybe hold a sign or something like that
Oh,
to make it known that they want change.
okay, got it. A person or group of people involved in a protest or demonstration. Demonstration is similar to protest, right?
Yes, yeah, pretty much. Demonstration not only is a protest, but demonstration is to show something or show the action of something. For example, in science class, they can have a demonstration where they show some chemical reaction. Everyone observes it. So it's something that people can see. So here they're saying that when there's a protest or a demonstration outside a workplace, so they're meaning that they're outside and just showing something. Here they're showing their unhappiness with whatever the policy is or whatever's happening in their world.
Mm.
Hmm.
Uh, the worker held a picket to demand to demand safer working conditions in the factory. Okay, the worker held a picket. The person outside on picket.
Also, maybe you'll remember another example of protest and not quite picket, but I remember recent news again during that same time, during the time of protests in the Xinjiang, after the Xinjiang building burning, that there was people who were in an iPhone factory. They were protesting because they were stuck in the factory and they were not allowed to leave because of COVID. Do you know this story?
Yes, in 富士康.
Right. Yeah, so what they did is a protest. They came out, they, fought against the government in some way. That is an example of a protest as well. They were not happy with their conditions, so they did something about it. They came out and showed their unhappiness to everybody. So, yeah. This isn't quite a picket. Usually a picket is more peaceful, people have signs. That one they were kind of forcing their way out.
Okay. Exercise article. Women's suffrage. How women fought for right
Fought.
to
Hmm.
fought
Hmm.
for the right to vote. The average voter is a female voter, said a King's colleague London article in 2019. And in many places, female voter turnout can be higher than male turnout. Let me review the turnout mean.
Hmm.
Turnout the number of okay. But it wasn't always that way. Before the 20th century, the number of female voters in most parts of the world was zero. Women's suffrage had to be fought for.
Yep, fought for.
Fought for. In 1848, the the
Seneca
Senate
Falls
the Seneca Falls
Convention.
Convention. What's the meaning of convention?
Convention is like do you know like do you like video games or anything like that?
Yes, I play video games.
Okay, have you ever heard of like the E3 convention? It's like a big event where all of the big video game companies come to a place and they show trailers and demonstrate their new video games that are coming out in the next year or two. Do you know about
Oh,
this?
yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of like a convention. It's kind of like a show where they're showing something. There are car conventions where they're showing the next model that's coming out next year or something like that. Or it could be a fashion convention where the fashion designer is showing their next year's work or something like that. Yeah, so convention is like a show. Usually they're displaying something, usually hosted by a company or government or something like that.
Okay, got it. Convention. For example, Apple and Tesla will give car convention.
Right. Yes. Yeah, they both have conventions. Yep.
Okay. The Seneca Falls Convention was held in New York with about 300 people in attendance. Organizer Elizabeth Cady Stanton declared that women should be given the right to vote. Only 100 people signed the declaration, but the movement was only beginning. In UK, a petition by the Women's Suffrage Committee with about 1,500 signatures was protested in Pala-
Parliament.
Pala- Parliament in 1866, demanding voting rights for women. It was the first time. It was the first of many petitions to be rejected. Petition was. Let me see if I have learned this before. I don't
Hmm.
know petition.
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 Hmm. Petition is if people are unhappy with something, they will write like a letter or write a note, and then they will get people to sign it if they agree with it. So, like for example, maybe there is, let's say there's an athlete on a sporting team, and this athlete did something. Maybe he was in a car accident and hit a woman, and then drove away and left the scene. And his team did not punish him for this. Maybe the people on the internet will write a petition saying remove this player from the team, or else we won't watch the team, or we won't go to the sporting events. And then if 100,000 people sign this letter supporting what they're saying, then it puts a lot of pressure on that organization to change something, to get rid of that player or something like that. So yeah, petition is like a letter that people write and then people sign it to support it.
Oh, petition is people sign and protect it.
They sign something to show that they support something. So whatever that movement is, like for example, maybe people are signing a petition to open a windmill in the state to get green energy. And let's say everyone in that town signs that. That means they all support it. And if they give it to the government, the mayor or the state government there, it shows there's a lot of support for that thing. And maybe they will do what the people want or something like that. It's basically a way of showing what the popular person wants.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it. In 1893, New Zealand became the first self-governing country to allow women to vote. Finland became the first European country to do so in 1906.
1906. Mm-hmm.
1906, but elsewhere, the fight continued. In 1903, Emmeline Pankhurst and others formed the Women's Social and Political Union in the UK. That was the start of the suffragette movement.
Suffragette.
Huh?
The suffragette.
Suffragette. Oh, okay. Suffragette movement. The goal was to obtain the right to vote by enemies. In 1903. Okay. This meant their campaign wasn't always peaceful, and the suffragette
Suffragette.
suffragette suffragettes were known for causing disruption, including trying to invade the House of Commons in London, and they were sometimes violent. More than 1,000 suffragettes were imprisoned between 1906 and 1914, and Pankhurst was imprisoned multiple times, but thanks to their efforts, the UK gave the right to vote to women over 30 in 1918, and to all women in 1928. To all
Mm-hmm.
women, I think we still need the people should above 18, right? Not all women.
Right. I'm guessing they mean, yeah, they say all women. I'm guessing that they're in this article they're implying that women are adults as opposed to girls.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Inspired by Pankhurst, Alice Paul, founder of the National Women's Party in the U.S., played a central role in women receiving the right to vote in 1920. She organized the White House pickets on the
Pickets.
hunger pickets,
Pickets.
pickets,
Yep.
and hunger strikes, and she was arrested many times.
Hmm. Do you know what
Pankhurst,
hunger strikes are?
Paul, and hmm?
Do you
I
know what
don't know.
hunger strikes are?
Hunger strikes are. I don't know.
Okay. So first, to explain the word strikes, to start with, an example of strikes that happens in America is if people are unhappy with their work, they will go on strike. They will not work. So in America, this has happened with something, let's say, like bus drivers. They think bus drivers are not getting enough pay and they don't get enough benefits. So they go on strike and they don't work. And this is a big problem because now you have thousands of people who need to take the bus every day and now they cannot take the bus. And it brings awareness to the problem. People are going to ask, why are the bus drivers not working? And they find out, oh, they're not getting paid enough money or something like that. And maybe they decide, okay, I'm not taking the bus anymore. So when someone goes on strike, they are trying to bring awareness to a problem that they have, or they are. It's a kind of a form of protesting a strike. And what a hunger strike is when people stop eating. This is seen in some some problems. For example, I know prisoners sometimes go on hunger strikes if they're not given enough, if they're not being treated properly, they'll just stop eating to bring awareness. People will go and visit them in prison, say, why do you look so skinny, why do you look so unhealthy? And they tell them, we are not being treated well, so we decided to stop eating. And it becomes big attention, everyone will see it. And even besides that, the guards may say, oh, things are crazy. If a guard comes home to his wife, say, oh, things are crazy in my prison, they're not, the prisoner stopped eating, then the wife tells somebody and the news gets everywhere. So a hunger strike is a way of protesting.
Oh, got it.
Hmm.
If I think the government is not doing well, I will go to the White House and and do the hunger strikes. I don't need anything. I just sit there.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, people would be asking you, like, what are you doing there and stuff like that. But yeah, maybe it's a possibility. The thing is, I think all countries, they don't like protests, and they'll find a way to stop the protests. So I think if you try to do that in America in the White House, they would be like, okay, you cannot be here. You have to go somewhere else and ruin your protest. But yeah, that could be something you could
Got it.
do. Hmm.
Okay. Pankhurst, Paul, and many others who fought for women's rights are no longer alive today, but their contribution to women's suffrage uh, will long to be remembered.
Hmm. Okay. Any
Okay.
questions about the article, or let's go to the discussions?
I will review this article and then I will ask some questions.
Sure.
Quick review. I will do
Hmm.
it. I'm sorry. Mm. For the first sentence, the average voter is a female voter, said King's colleague in the article in 2019. What's the the function? Why this article started by this sentence?
What do you mean? Like,
The
why
first
does it
sentence.
start with that?
Yeah.
That's just a belief. It's what they say. So this comes from an article in 2019. Basically, what they're saying is the average voter is a female voter, meaning the average person who is voting is a female voter. I think what they mean by that is it's 50, either most of the voters are women, as they mentioned in the previous one, that female voters can have a higher turnout than males, or it's 50-50 in some places, or I think that's mostly what they're saying, that on average, the female voter is the average voter.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it.
Hmm.
On only 100 years, the woman has the right to vote.
Hmm.
Begin 1920, about at that time.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
1928 in the UK for everybody, for all women. Yep.
Okay. We can discuss the question.
Okay. All right. I think one that comes to mind first, I will ask you about discussion number 5. Can you think of any other rights people have fought for throughout history?
I Hmm, I think the white people and the black people in the past, the black people don't have rights to go to some restaurant and learn. I think, but
Right.
now they can.
Right. Yeah. So in the past, there was, as you mentioned, yeah, there was what we call segregation. And not only segregation, but then even before that, there was slavery. So yeah, there's a lot of history in America between white people and now African American people. Yep. So that's one. Can you think of anyone else?
Mm, in in India, their name will will uh, will will depend will depend on their level.
Their name will depend on their level.
Their level depend on their name in India.
Oh, like their social status.
Yes, social status.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Interesting. Yeah, I know another one that I thought of is also people in same sex relationships too. That is another big topic that is being fought around the world. But anyway, time is up. It was nice to meet you, Ben. Have a good day. Bye.